this is Dan. Welcome to another video. Today we are reading chapter 29 of Hermitcraft Mayhem, a Minecraft-inspired fanfiction where I put all Minecraft YouTubers that I enjoy watching and others into a world and see what happens. And in this case, it's Hermitcraft. If it wasn't made abundantly clear what it was. And today's perspective, if you haven't read the title, is Bdubs. Yeah, there's a link to the description, in the description if you want to catch up on all the videos. But if you just want to read along with me, that's fine too. If you're new, if you're not, it doesn't matter. If you're enjoying the story, that's fine. Yeah. There are captions available if you are interested in following along there. But other than that, let's get right into it. Are you sure it's okay to stay the night here? Franklin asked, staring down at the newly crafted bed in front of him. Bdubs sat on his bed, noting the boy's weariness. Of course, we've got lots of room, Haley said cheerfully, letting the lid of a white shulker box close. The teen had just finished making a medical kit. I can see that, Frank said quietly, looking around the empty sleepover room. Joel, Jem, and Pearl had gone to scout out the perimeter with the interns. That left Scar, Grian, Skiz, and Bdubs in here with the recovering protectors and Liam. Bdubs glanced over his shoulder toward the curtained window. They were certainly outnumbered if a clone army were to make their move. Would Campbell go that far? Or would he only take a few men and get Frank himself? It was hard to know what a man like that would do. Campbell had poisoned rivers that killed many innocent people. He'd ordered the James brothers' hometown to be besieged, everyone in or nearby slaughtered. Bdubs shuddered. What else had the man done that he didn't know about? Is there something else that's bothering you? Haley pressed, pulling Bdubs back to the present moment. I'm not sure, Frank admitted, brushing a hand along the soft blanket. Nothing makes any sense. What doesn't? Haley frowned. I shouldn't be here, Frank said in a whisper. It's like my death wasn't real. Like it was a bad dream. Except the nightmare is still happening. He looked up, meeting Bdubs' eyes briefly. I watched a madman torture someone right in front of me, and he enjoyed it. You sure it was Gerald? Bdubs asked. Positive, the boy said matter-of-factly. His face is quite unforgettable, with or without scars. Bdubs nodded, gesturing to the empty spot beside him. Do you want to talk about it? What you remember? Frank hesitated, turning to look at Haley. The girl smiled. You don't have to. Bill said it would take some time to remember, Frank replied. He said I'd been through a lot. You have, Haley said gently, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder. I know a few things that might help jog your memory. Just want to know the truth, Frank pouted. I don't know what to believe anymore. Haley nodded, guiding the boy to sit down. He didn't resist as she sat beside him. The new iPad that I have is slipping. Yeah, I'm reading it on my iPad instead of my computer. It's a lot easier. You came in the middle of the night. Middle of the week. I remember because I was helping Stacy bring some supplies to her house. I came back and you were there. Was anyone with me? Frank looked up to her. Rose, Haley said. She brought you to the school due to some safety concerns. I think Mr. A was keeping an eye on you. Me? Why? To recruit you, I'm guessing. Haley shrugged. You're smart and brave. I am? Frank asked thoughtfully, his cheeks reddening. saw what you did out there, Haley teased. You weren't too bad. My uncle taught me a few things before he moved away, Frank said simply. I don't remember when it was, but I was young. Dad said it was good to have a way to defend yourself. You had a point there, at least. Haley sighed. You don't like my dad? He ordered one of his men to kill me, she said with a shrug. Why? Your dad blamed Rose for what happened to you, Bdubs said calmly. Rose? What would he think was... Why would he think it was her fault? I don't know, Haley admitted. We don't fully know what happened, like Liam said. You weren't supposed to be there. Frank nodded. It's all fuzzy. It's okay, Haley said gently. Maybe some rest will help. Yeah? Frank looked over at her. She squeezed his shoulder before getting up. You never know what you might find. Just curious, though, Bdubs added. How do you know Gerald was there? Did your dad tell you? Frank shook his head. I don't know. Maybe I saw his face before. Haley furrowed her brow. When? Frank shrugged. Dad said his name when he was going after Impulse. He said Gerald saw everything. What do you mean by everything? Interrupted Impulse's interrogation. I guess Gerald decided to get my dad and confront him. What's Gerald showing him? Bdubs asked. Frank looked at him. Worst fear. He doesn't like being blamed for something he didn't do, especially by those he cares about. Bdubs blanched. You serious? Frank nodded as Haley's frown deepened. Gerald wanted Kyle to get one of his friends so he could make him watch. That's enough. Haley snapped back to attention. I need to talk to Liam. Will you two be okay for a minute? Yeah, Bdubs swallowed. Haley nodded before heading to the door. Frank looked down at his hands resting on his lap. We'll get him out of there, Bdubs said defiantly. Frank let out a heavy sigh. I don't think Gerald will let that happen. We've been through worse, Bdubs said cheerfully. It'll be fine, you'll see. You're not mad? Why do you think I'd be mad? I don't know, Franklin admitted. Impulse is your friend, right? Bdubs tilted his head. Yeah, I've known him for a while. Just... Frank shook his head. My dad was mad just by having me talk to him. He's been through a lot worse than what your father could ever do, Bdubs replied. Gerald is a menace. I saw, Frank said quietly. Do you think that maybe I should have helped him? How? You two wouldn't have gone very far, Bdubs said simply. I don't know. Frank closed his eyes. I can't get the screams out of my head. I know the feeling, Bdubs replied, but Sam is really good at his job. He's not going to let Gerald get away with this. Frank smiled weakly. How long do you think it'll take for Dad to find out where I am? Not long, Bdubs mused. At least he cares about you. He was willing to lie to my face to keep me from learning the truth, Frank said blandly. He acts like my death never happened. Bdubs winced. Grief is weird. It affects people differently. Yeah, but I'm here, Frank insisted, sniffling. Why am I here? I should be dead. I was dead. But now I'm here, and I don't know what is going on. Bdubs nodded. It's hard, but I know you'll figure it out. I just want to know why, Frank admitted, curling his knees up to his chest. Why was I even at the safe house if I wasn't meant to be there? Why do I remember what happened? What went wrong? Bdubs got to his feet. I don't know. I'm sure it'll come to you, and we'll be there to help you through it. You would? Frank blinked, surprised. Of course, Bdubs grinned. Some battles aren't meant to be fought alone. Frank smiled weakly. Thanks. I'll keep that in mind. Bdubs watched silently as the boy climbed into bed, resting his head on the pillow. The last rays of the evening sun faded as Bdubs turned away, spotting Isaac in a nearby bed. He was sound asleep, recovering from the attack that had taken impulse. If all went according to plan, their friend would be with them soon, safe and sound, far away from RJ or Gerald's control. Bdubs let out a heavy sigh and yawned, pulling back the covers of his bed. It was going to be a long day tomorrow, regardless of what happened. That, my friends, is the end of that chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, chapter 30, we're going to Gran, and then, yeah, 11 more chapters to go. On to the next story, which I may or may not be currently working on, but just depending on when I release other stories first and whatnot, if I get other ideas. But yeah, I mean, I can release it right after and have like additional stories on Fridays too. It's not that big a deal, but I don't know. It just depends on when that story is ready to go. I said I wanted a break, and technically I did. But like every time I say I want a break, another idea comes, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Look, this is a big story. It's really hard to keep everything together. At least if I narrow it in a little bit, it's just a little easier. Just focus on one thing at a time. What do these guys really want? Why do they want to go to this extent? And yeah, go from there. I'll see you guys in the next one, whatever that might be. Goodbye.